You're listening to The Mean Geek, comics podcasting on the very ragged, raw, bleeding edge of friggin' civility.
Yeah, we're monsters. What are you going to do? Welcome to the monumental 5th episode of The Mean Geek, podcasting on the edge of civility. I'm your almost host, Tech Jedi, here as always in the Rev's apartment with the Rev himself.
Bless you, fuckers.
All right, and this is the Ramble episode because we got absolutely nothing this week. Missed looking through the pile, but we have been reading. Just haven't been reading anything neat. Nothing over the top, I think. So we'll just blast out anything that's on our minds. The Rev just told me that there are, in fact, comic book-based movies that I have to get, and I strenuously denied this, to which he replied,
Yes, you do.
and your reasoning behind that, of course, was...
So you can have a Marvel and DC movie Hall of Shame.
And the Hall of Shame, movie-wise, would include...
Well, you even have to ask.
Well, you know, if we're going to sit here and say, do you have to ask, I will say no, and we'll end the podcast right here.
Okay, come on, fire off. What do you consider the worst Marvel and DC movies?
Well, Punisher was holy shit bad.
Which one? Dolph Lundgren?
Yes, absolutely, Dolph fucking Lundgren. Mr. Red Goddamn Scorpion himself.
He's an actor's actor.
Well, maybe. That's way up there in the bads.
Never seen it.
Don't worry about it.
Apparently I have to now.
Well, you're not required. No one's requiring you. But
You've got Catwoman and Elektra.
Catwoman was so horrifyingly bad. I flipped through the TV. When it came out when I was working on the video store, I'm like, all right, I get to see Halle Berry in skin-tight leather with rips, a lot of skin showing. And a couple people said, I hated this movie, I want another one. And I'm like, well, you know, I can't really let you have and just have another one after you've watched the full goddamn movie. That's not, I mean, why don't I just give you a key card and let you roam the store, you know? So I heard a lot of bad crap about it, and occasionally they would try to put it on
Claiming it was defective.
No, the other workers would try to put it on, like She Who Must Not Be Named was a big fan of it, and I vetoed every time. I came in and it was already on at one point. I stopped it. But then, just a few weeks ago, I was flipping through the channels. I was bored. I was about to go somewhere. I had some time to waste. And I stopped on Catwoman. And it was god-awful.
Yeah.
It was so horribly bad. I don't even think her name was Selena in this one, which is irritating.
Also not seen that.
But I did see the vast majority of Elektra. And it's never good when a movie that's specifically supposed to be about an assassin has a change of heart because there's a kid involved. And oh my god, I can't kill the father because the kid's right there, blah, blah, blah. So much for your professional fucking ethic.
Assassins are basically wussies.
Some of them. You know, Deadshot, he's not really a wussy, but he's a bit of a coward.
Deadshot? But no, Deadshot, stone cold wussy.
Well, I don't know about wussy.
Let's go back to Suicide Squad with him whining about his death wish. And, you know, the part where he shot himself in the throat was pretty cool, but in general,
I did dig that. You can't really call Deathstroke an assassin, can you? Because
No.
I've never actually seen him kill anybody.
Which is...
But he will follow a job. You know? In Identity Crisis, friggin' Dr. Light paid his ass off, and he did the job.
That's what he does.
He went to town.
He did the same thing in that Green Arrow Black Canary.
Yes, he did.
In a much lighter
did
vein.
the job. But, again, he didn't kill anybody.
Didn't he have his own series back in the day?
That I would have to look up. Because
Yeah.
I'm not real certain. They might have gave him a
did.
mini at some point.
No, I think he had an ongoing series.
If anybody answers that question for us on email, the first person to do it, since no one else has responded to our contest last week, will get a copy of Punisher Warzone Return of Manucci #1, signed by the Mean Geeks.
Be still, your beating hearts.
I got 3 of them, man. I don't need 3 of them. So those three crap movies, they're total dookie.
And there's a Doctor Strange movie out there.
A real Doctor Strange movie or the animated one?
I thought there was a real one back in the day.
Wasn't that a TV special?
It's still a movie in the theoretical sense.
Yeah, but TV specials, you got to take them with a grain of salt because they're automatically limited.
This is just because of your obsession with Trial of the Hulk that you would defend these things.
No, I didn't like Trial of the Hulk.
You love Trial of the
Hulk. I don't remember jack about Trial of the Hulk is what it really is.
You remember loving it.
So, no, I don't. I remember Thor being a complete drunkard and burping all the time. That's what I remember about Trial of the Incredible Hulk.
Once again, have not seen it.
Nick Fury was horrifyingly bad.
I taped that for you, and my girlfriend made me delete it because I kept playing it in front of her and drive her crazy.
When was that on?
That was
They
on...
replayed that recently enough?
Yeah, I had it on the DVR, and Christine saw it so many times that she became angry and swore that if I did not delete it, she would stop coming over.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, she did not care for it.
First off, he wasn't fucking old enough for one. He needs to be a grizzled old fuck.
No, let's be very clear about this. Petty geek details are not the reason that David Hasselhoff's Nick Fury was a bad movie. Okay, he was not old enough. The gun was the wrong color. No, these are not acceptable reasons for this to suck. This sucks on so
we're gonna have to go back
levels.
to the story and his acting. The story was so bad, I don't even remember it. I
expunged
it from my memory. Tell us what Nick Fury is all about.
I remember he was in a cave, and then someone came and got him because something happened that was bad, and then he made the badness stop with the use of bad psychics and worse firearms, and then the badness got the upper hand, and then he made the badness go away again.
Was he even like a member of S.H.I.E.L.D. or was he just some
S.H.I.E.L.D. was
super
in there.
spy?
I remember fast forwarding a lot.
Fast forwarding a lot.
It's an atrocious film, and everyone involved in it
now
should eat a sour pickle.
There's another really amazingly bad flick. Maybe you remember it, maybe you don't. I did see it in its entirety when I was out of my single digits, but the first time I saw it, I was just a young pup.
Captain America?
Absolutely right. The transparent shield that became the
red
fairing
brown
on his motorcycle. The latex suit.
Let's not forget Swamp Thing. The film.
Swamp Thing is actually quite venerated in many geek circles.
I don't know why.
It's true. I don't get it either. Because when you say things like, "I'll be your hands," you just gotta kind of wince a little bit.
You saying that made me wince a whole fucking lot, sir. Let's be clear again. No, I recently had the chance to see Swamp Thing on television, and I unfortunately chose to take advantage of that chance, and that is an appallingly poor film. You would have to walk many a mile.
Barbeau. I mean, that says a lot right there. Have you ever enjoyed anything she's been in except as maybe Oswald's mother on Drew Carey Show or Escape from New York?
Oh, see, you take Escape from New York. You do. I love how people do that. They're like, have you ever enjoyed anything that so-and-so is in except for these two really good options?
Well, I mean, she wasn't that big a factor in Escape from New York.
No one was that big. It's Kurt Russell and a cast of dead people.
No, Ernest Borgnine's still alive, baby.
He died in the movie.
Well, yeah, okay. And she died in the standoff with the Duke of New York.
Yep.
He's played a number one. Oh, Chef. Isaac Hayes.
There you go. And let's not forget Harry Dean Stanton.
Kane. Not Kane.
Kane
Brett.
and Alien.
Brett. Parker Brett.
Yes, Brett.
Kane was
Ian Holm.
Yes. No, that was Ash.
Shit, who the fuck is
John Hurt.
John Hurt was
John
Kane.
Hurt.
Dang, that was irritating. And this pointless ramble was brought to you by the Mean Geeks.
All right, so
we watch a lot of movies, folks.
The Swamp Thing was horrifying. You can't really count Chris Columbus's Fantastic Four because that wasn't really made to be made. It was just made to keep the copyright going. So if they did make it, they might have a chance. But nobody
based on what they
ever
made,
felt like doing it.
No, atrociously poor. As was the later Fantastic Four movie.
No.
Yes.
The first revamp was not horrifying.
Yes, it was.
It was less than optimal. But
If by less than optimal,
don't
you
even you. Well, no, that's one tiny point. I can't bring that as a selling point.
Is this
for
the
the
Jessica
whole
Alba
flick.
underwear
It
scene?
is. No, not the underwear scene. Just that first moment when she came out in the suit. That's not really a seller for the whole
No,
flick.
she's hot, but I'm 36. I won't watch 2 hours of a film to see a young girl in a tight outfit.
Yeah, well, that's
I was 14 when I did shit
That's
like that.
why I backtracked on that one.
That is not
Because your statement just now about that is completely accurate. But no, it was not that horrifying.
that movie was venereal disease horrifying.
No, you obviously didn't see Rise of the Surfer.
You're damn right I didn't.
No, that one, I was so bored with that one. I started playing video games while it was on. I was like, I looked over at the TV every once in a while. I'm like, it's still going? Why isn't that over yet? What's the timer say?
Atrocious.
5 minutes!
Atrocious.
So bad. Wanted.
I haven't
Did you
seen
get
it.
to see Wanted? No.
Any good?
There were elements of it that were worthwhile.
Oh, that's such a fucking geek sentence right there. There were elements that I enjoyed that made the film not as a whole.
I really didn't dig the whole we're going to bend the trajectory of bullets routine.
I like that. I know every time I fire bullets, I like to bend their trajectory.
No, you are such a liar. That's not accurate at all, man.
The last time I shot anything was never.
Well, we'll have to take you to the range then. Because I would love to see you with a 45. I'm going to give you, like, pop the round in the chamber, eject the clip. Hand you just the one bullet, point you down range, and see you lose the thing. Pow! Zing!
I fired a 45 before out in Arizona.
Oh, you just said you never shot nothing?
I didn't hit a goddamn thing.
Oh,
but
well,
I
that's
fired
different.
It,
So
I fired a shotgun too and still managed to hit nothing.
This is such a divergence here. We're supposed to be talking about geek things, but I went to a gun show at...
I love that you don't feel that a gun show qualifies as a geek thing.
Oh, it definitely ain't, man. How many geeks you know own guns?
It's integral. It's its own little geek entity, man. It's a side geek world. It's like fantasy football.
I don't know about that. I really don't. They spend so much dough on fucking action figures. Where are they going to get dough for a pistol? That's $300, man. That's a bust of Mockingbird. They will buy that far ahead of a gun.
I think you give your geeks less credit. Because, as I recall, you don't own a bust of Mockingbird.
Yeah, and I don't own a gun either.
No, that's true.
Because I will just buy more comics with all that dough.
You do have a samurai sword.
I do. That was a birthday present that I tried to refuse because I knew the woman was insane. She kept pushing and pushing, and I said, well, it's $60 and you're unemployed. But she wanted to impress me. She wanted to get across that she was interested, but I knew she was batshit loco. So I tried to beg it off, and she just wouldn't have it. And I'm like, fine, give me the goddamn sword.
What a sweet romantic gesture. Fine, give me the goddamn sword.
I didn't actually say it.
Thank you would be overrated.
I thanked her profusely. But
That's not thanking her.
yeah, it is.
It's like punishing her.
It is when I'm doing it,
Oh,
man.
dear Lord. All right. So you had advanced earlier the idea of top 10 lists.
Yes.
Explain.
We have this little thing we do when we're bored on long car trips.
Or short car trips.
Medium size, at least medium size. All the way out to the mall or something. Which in this state is quite a haul, actually.
Well, from us,
But
anyway.
play this little game where the Rev will just out of nowhere pop up, dude, top 10 miniseries, and I'll have to think up my top 10 miniseries. The miniseries being, not one shots, and not having then continued on to a full series with continuing the numbering.
There you go.
So, I'd have to say my number 10 miniseries.
Well, for the purposes of broadcasting, we should probably go with a top 5.
5. 5 will do. 1984's Transformers.
Really?
Absolutely not.
You
I just wanted to see your reaction on that one, man.
Wow. I would rather read an advertisement for gel soles than that.
Are you gelling like a felon?
All right.
So bad.
Your top 5 miniseries.
Kingdom Come,
Okay.
Crisis on Infinite Earths, Identity Crisis, Dark Knight Returns. That's 4, right?
Yes.
And
Geeks can also do math.
what was so good that I would never ever get rid of it again? It's tough. Chuck an idea out and I'll throw it in.
I don't know. I'm not really loving your list. I mean, they're more the big ones. There's no personality. Crisis on Infinite Earth, really? Favorite?
Yeah.
I mean, it's seminal, but...
Well, it's important anyway. But honestly, a lot of miniseries don't really hold a hell of a lot. That's why they're minis.
I don't know about that. I mean, what am I... Let me think on this one. You still need one more.
Oh, Dark Knight. Yeah. This is where I'm probably going to pause. Not Machine Man and not Cosmic Boy. Okay? I don't care if it is Barry Windsor Smith.
Barry Windsor Smith did Cosmic Boy? I think he...
No, he didn't do it. That was Machine Man. And I know some people, eventually when they hear this, if they ever hear it, and if you don't hear it, fuck off.
Or fuck on, really.
We'll be like, Machine Man? What are you talking about? What's a Machine Man?
He's a robot who's got a personality. It's fascinating.
By Barry Windsor Smith.
Machine Man was atrocious.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. God.
Have you read the 5th miniseries?
I got tons of miniseries, but putting them in the top 5 is difficult because...
Remember, the trick is that tomorrow it could be a totally different top 5. You just have to go with it. What calls you right now?
Zippo.
Well done.
Work with me here. Throw something out.
I'm not giving you mine.
I don't want yours. Just throw anything out. You'll say yours.
What about Vertigo?
How many miniseries did Egypt? Fuck that.
Peter Milliken is a brilliant man who writes stories that are convoluted and edifying. However, they're weird.
They're incredibly weird.
Weird things. What about Death, The High Cost of Living, The Sandman?
That was excellent. I liked that a lot. I did. Not sure about top 5 still. Probably top 10, certainly.
Think about characters like Superman.
The Byrne reboot mini?
That's in my top 5.
Oh. Well, see, now I can't have it.
No, you can totally have it. I share. Mother taught me well. When you have toys and others do not, laugh quietly to yourself and allow them to play with yours. But guard your toys at all times.
Wow. Did you really get taught that?
No. Are you kidding? I had to go to other kids' house and clean up their shit. My parents are like, "You're leaving. Why is this room dirty?" Because it was dirty when I got here. That's not my point.
Oh.
No, but
maybe another beer will lubricate this up, huh?
Byrne's Superman revamp was a phenomenal miniseries.
Well, save that for you. What was I thinking?
Oh, Lobo.
No. When I was, after, looking back on the collection with all those in it, now I'm thinking, what was I thinking? I can't believe it's not the Justice League.
There you go.
That was great stuff. Giffen should never write anything but fucking Justice League ever again.
That is baldly untrue.
Like what? What do you want him to write?
In my top 5 miniseries would be Ambush Bugs original series.
Okay, all right. You got that one. That's Giffen.
And, of course, the Heckler, which I'm the only fan of, known to man.
Anyone who knows who the Heckler was or owns a copy with any bit of Heckler in it gets a free copy of Punisher Warzone #1.
You may have
The
to give all
Return
three
of
away if you're not
Manucci.
careful.
Signed by the Mean Geeks.
Ambush Bug was a great book because it reminded me that comics, there's a sense of fun about it that really put it in my top
absolutely.
5. Longbow Hunters is one of my all-time favorite miniseries.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Superman was a huge...
Yeah, so Ambush Bug, Longbow Hunters, Burns Superman.
I would have to do The Dark Knight.
And The Dark Knight. Do you want Heckler in there?
No, Heckler was an actual series. It just got canceled very quickly.
Okay, so...
We failed to find an audience does not equal miniseries, boys and girls.
But we got to support all books at all times.
No.
That's what I'm trying to say, man, because I heard something this week that drove me nuts when I heard it.
What's it?
I heard that if you say bad things about a book, you hurt the creator's feelings and risk his economic survival.
Really?
Yeah.
Where did you
So
hear this?
you can essentially vote your wallet, but not your mouth. Which doesn't make any kind of goddamn sense to me, because I'm going to call a spade a spade. A shovel's a shovel. That's
I have
a spade being a shovel. Thank you
I
very
have
much.
seen you call a shovel a spade and a spade a shovel. I have been there for that, so I know that you're not telling the truth right now.
Well,
but where did you hear this little...
I'm not going to say precisely where I heard it, but because I don't want to hurt the other podcasters' feelings. But it was another podcast.
Very positive podcast?
They had, of all people, a colorist on, which it was nice to understand the process of coloring.
I use
from
a
an
computer to
abstract
put a magenta
perspective.
here. Yeah, thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, pretty much. And, I can kind of see where he's coming from, because nobody wants to hear anything negative. And for people who are on the fence about buying a particular book, if they read enough bad stuff, they won't buy it. So, they should judge for themselves, obviously. But you hear enough bad stuff, odds are it's crap.
Here's my thought. Back in the 1930s, a great many of the writers I enjoyed, such as Robert Benchley, Dorothy Parker, a lot of the humorists of that period, were also critics.
All right.
And criticism was a way of expressing one's feelings about something they'd experienced.
Right.
Now, in the term critic, it's a description. It doesn't necessarily mean a negative. It doesn't necessarily mean a positive. It's, you're telling if you enjoyed or did not enjoy something. And it's a shared opinion.
All right.
And if you're telling me that I can't have an opinion or I'm going to hurt someone's feelings, I have to tell you.
Their real point was don't poison other people's potential opinions of the work.
Ah. All right. Well, let me address that this way. Hi there. I'm the Reverend Mad Duck. You may remember me from the previous 4 podcasts of The Mean Geek. I'm a jackass. And I have papers to prove it. If, for some reason, while listening to me, you decide to not read something, you're taking the opinion of a jackass. If, by listening to me, you decide to read something, you're taking the opinion of a jackass. Now, since I am said jackass, I feel my opinion has merit. You may or may not. Which is because you are probably also a jackass. Because all of us, in one way or another, are a jackass. Therefore, you may take my opinion with a grain or a pillar of salt, depending on your biblical preference. I enjoy the things I enjoy. I hate the things I hates. Like the X-Men.
Like the X-Men.
And I am choosing, because people bring me beer and give me comics to read, to share these opinions with you over the apparently new modicum known as the Internet. I believe Al Gore invented it.
But could
Do
you
with my
believe that?
opinion what you will. Don't blame me for it, because it is my opinion, and to be fair, I don't give a shit if you like it or don't. I will probably never meet you. You may never hear this, and if you do, you will probably never meet me to share with me your opinion on my opinion, which might hurt my feelings, and therefore you can't give me anyway. Have I been clear on this point?
Very much so, yes.
Thank you. And as for my final miniseries...
All right, movie series. Miniseries. What was your final miniseries?
Sin City.
Oh, which one?
The first one.
The first one. Okay.
Well, I guess that's not really a
the
miniseries.
first one serialized in DHP?
Yeah, that's not really a miniseries. Damn it, that was all clever. You know what I love?
Since many of you are such young fucking whippersnappers, DHP was Dark Horse Presents, which they occasionally resurrect and then summarily execute again when they see the sales figures.
Yeah, but do you buy those books?
Which books?
Any of them. Marvel Comics Presents, Dark Horse Presents.
No.
The filler books. And that's why they die. You know, it's a nice concept, and we talked about it last week or the week before with Wolverine, Punisher.
Yeah, the whole anthology thing.
And it's great to give people work and give them a chance. I don't, really enjoy reading most people's starting off points. Like, I think I can write comics. Here's a 4-page story about Captain Ultra.
That's got to be insanely boring.
And that's and Marvel Comics was particularly bad about that, but Dark Horse had independent amateurs.
Yeah, which are even harder to swallow sometimes. Occasionally you get somebody mind-boggling like Paul Chadwick.
Oh, absolutely. And you know my feelings on Paul Chadwick.
Yes, absolutely right. But who else do you remember from DHP? Was Paul Chadwick?
Roach Mill started in DHP.
Yeah, Roach Mill. Hi, fucking Roach Mill.
Actually, I don't think he started, but he did have a part in that. Roach Mill was hugely popular in the day. For those of you who don't remember, which it should and hopefully is most to all of you, Roach Mill was a part man, part roach, as in cockroach, exterminator of people who could be hired to assassinate anyone.
Truly one of the worst things ever, man.
What was it, McFadden and Sweeney?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
With Zulu and...
So, yeah. All right.
I think there was a decent amount of Roach Mill in that collection that you got.
Yes, there was. And somehow it's going to get expunged. There's some nuthatch out there who's like, fucking Roach Mill, yeah! Give him the horns, yeah! Fucking rock on, Roachy!
Who doesn't enjoy the devil-worshipping Roach Mill thing? All right.
So, we discounted the original Sin City because it was in DHP.
Oh, so I still owe a miniseries. Well, this is a personal favorite back in the day, and story-wise, it hasn't aged particularly well, but the art always carries it. It would be Brian Boland's Camelot 3000.
Oh, Camelot 3000, yeah. No, that's well respected.
I think if you go back and read
they released an absolute edition for that.
Well, I can't.
Oh, oversized
drinking vodka, but
what? No, man. You don't know about the absolute editions.
I don't.
The absolute editions are rather oversized, really heavy paper, hardbacks, glossy, dust jackets, everything, way high end. But they're oversized, so the art has much better chance to let you pick up detail and all that. Assuming, of course, that the art had any damn detail.
Well, with Brian
get somebody
Boland,
yeah,
there's plenty of detail. Really?
Yes.
He broke his fourth knuckle. I did not realize that before I read Brian Boland's work.
But those things are almost as expensive as the damn Marvel omnibuses.
No, which is why I will never.
Because you're talking at a discount, you might get away with buying one of them for $60.
Yeah, I've read Camelot 3000, and as story goes, it is not awe-inspiring. So I'm not Mike Barr.
But that doesn't mean That doesn't mean it can't be a favorite.
No, it was a huge because the art. It was one of the first times I've been enthralled by art. But there are many others. Havoc Wolverine introduced me to John J. Muth, which I absolutely adored back in the day. Meltdown.
Right, I remember that. I remember that well. I still got a couple of those I'm not sure if I got all three or not. But
Elektra Assassin.
Right. You remember these things far better than I do.
Yeah, and I'm the one whose brain and liver is pickled with alcohol. So who'd have thunk? All right, your top 5 turn. Fire away.
So that's miniseries. No, I came up with miniseries. You come up with something.
All right.
Storylines within series, story arcs. That's too broad. Way
top
too broad.
5 Batman villains. But it has to be personal favorites. I don't want the top 5,
of all time, right? I've always been a fan of any story Black Mask is in.
Really?
Yeah, because he's off to the side. He can sometimes be extravagant in the depth of his plots, but he's no Two-Face. He's not out in the open just going nuts at times, or just being the quiet, sinister motherfucker. No, he plots out his machinations there, however the hell you pronounce that word. See? Pronunciation keys. I'm telling you. Is it machinations?
No, you had it.
Which?
I'm not helping you.
His machinations. What?
I'm just not helping you.
I'm going to look this up. The guys on Around Comics could help because they got this little computer program that speaks the word they type in. They call it Heather.
Please don't do that, Hal.
She pretty much sounds like that too.
That's not cool.
She can do entire sentences. I don't know why you're touching my chips that way, Hal. I gotta get one of those. I gotta write those guys and find out where they got that thing.
Alright, so Black Mask.
Black Mask.
Cool character.
I've never really dug Mad Hatter. I saw absolutely no point to his ass.
I miss the old 1960s Mad Hatter with the big handlebar mustache and the red hair, which is the singularly worst villain ever. It was like Rip Taylor was suddenly attacking Gotham City.
Throwing confetti. Could you die? So, hate Mad Hatter.
Okay.
The Riddler, depending on who handles him,
well, that's true of all of them.
Can be interesting, but overall,
he's top just 5.
No, I'm eliminating.
Or as we call it in the biz, kids, stalling.
Yes, that's right. Totally stalling. It would seem like I'm pandering to late developments like Batman Begins, but I have dug Ra's al Ghul.
No, I've known that you
I have dug Ra's al Ghul because he's got the whole I'm so above everything. I've got plans that you can't conceive of.
And he banged the Black Canary.
He did what?
He banged the Black Canary.
How did he do that?
They were dating.
What? Ra's al Ghul?
Yeah.
When?
I have no idea. I read it in something else, and I remember weird shit like that.
That doesn't sound like anything that's ever happened. We're going to follow this up next week. You got a pen? We're going to write this down.
It's recorded. You can listen to it.
It was funnier if I asked for it. So, I like Ra's al Ghul. I like Black Mask. Anytime I hear that the fucking ventriloquist might be showing up, I'm just like, give me that issue, man.
I almost
reserve that for me, man.
I almost kept every one of those. It pained me to give those to you.
It just entertains me no end that this guy is so twacked out. He acts through a really, really poor Edward G. Robinson puppet.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Hands down, after the Joker, my favorite Batman villain. Bar none.
I do like the Joker. I like his more playful stuff rather than his grim, I'm gonna kill everyone in this room stuff. I like it when he speaks to bats like, dude, we know you and I are both going to end each other, and that's going to be the end of it. At the end of our life, the end of our lives are going to be hands on each other's throats. That's what we're going to do. And he realizes that despite how batshit he is, so to speak.
Ooh, a pun. I'm all a quiver. It's a Green Arrow pun if you didn't get it.
Oh man. And he raises his hand in triumph like it meant something.
Do you remember, a slight aside, the JLA when Mark Waid was writing it?
Barely.
I
have several, but I don't.
Yeah, you got them.
I haven't read them in a long time.
The Key, I believe. I want to.
Yeah, I know the Key.
No, the Key was early. That was Grant Morrison. It was during Wade's reign. There was a period where they were all living out their fantasies, and the Joker was dying of cancer, so he attached his heartbeat to a nuclear bomb in the center of Gotham.
Really? I got to go back and look for that one.
Maybe it was a Morrison one. I want to say.
But that's brilliant. That is definitely something he would do. But I don't like it when he does the whole when they have him do the whole amusement park of death shit and the giant death traps, because people will still do that shit today, man.
I love giant death traps. There should be more giant death traps in real life.
So you want to go back to Burt Ward and fucking Adam West?
It's all about how it's done, though. Like, obviously, Burt Ward and Adam West is not done particularly well, although you're savagely fond of it for all your mocking.
What are you talking about?
Go back to the X-Men when you
Wouldn't I have the box set by now if I had Arcade? You're going to talk about Arcade?
You're going to tell me that you loved Arcade back in the day.
Again, kids, if you're under 25 or you've been in comics less than 10 years, Arcade was a villain begun, mid-70s?
No. I want to
early
say...
70s?
I want to say early 80s. Well...
No, definitely not. Because
He
he was at least in Cockrum's run, which was 76, 77.
He didn't really hit his stride till the mid-80s.
Well, yeah. But he had Murder World, the amusement park of death. And, take that as you will.
But he was a pretty bad Joker clone at this time. But he was popular in that era period.
Arcade.
I just miss, I like opening a comic book and seeing a superhero on a giant mousetrap. Like, that's the kind of shit. Because when I open the newspaper, nobody's on a giant mousetrap. And then therein lies the difference.
So you're a big fan of Dick Sprang era stuff.
I just don't like the phrase Dick Sprang.
Well, that is a horrifyingly bad name for anything that would remotely be attached to a kid's book. I mean,
and the filthiness has begun. Children, you should never have been listening, so at this point, fuck it.
Yeah, we told you. We warned you off on the front page. So, but that's what we get for 9.5% beer.
Oh, God bless.
This thing is awesome, isn't it?
I'm a happy man.
I'm so going to do
All right, so Joker makes 4, so that, what else you got?
Lady Shiva. No, fuck that.
I will hit you with a friggin' table lamp.
I would never say that Lady Shiva was one of my favorite Bat villains. Ever. Not in any kind of seriousness. Azrael. Screw him for a month of Sundays. Hate that character.
Is he even a villain? Or
Well, he can't make up his mind. He was brutal enough to be a villain. He's certainly... Well, at very least... He's merely a protagonist because he's certainly not a hero.
Well, the definition of hero differ. If the Punisher can be a hero, I suppose.
No, Punisher. Nobody would say the Punisher was a hero. They always throw anti in front of that.
Well,
and it's not, and that's just another way of saying protagonist rather than hero. Because it's his book, but he ain't a hero, so he's doing things for a good cause. Maybe. So he's an anti-hero. He's the opposite of the hero, but he does kind of things that they... Never mind. So,
You are drunk.
What Batman villains are left?
Quite a few, man. I mean, you've taken out about 5.
But any of them that can be really...
Well, I know
Hugo
your favorite is the
Strange
Cavalier,
is a lot of fun.
but I don't think...
That's not true.
Firefly.
That's not true either. And neither is Killer Moth.
I love Killer Moth. That's
I'll
a
bet you
brilliant
do.
concept. Off the top of your head, you've got...
I do like Bane, but I don't think he's top 5. Penguin... It was interesting. The evolution of Penguin has been semi-fascinating.
I'll give you that, actually. I think the Penguin is a horrifyingly lame villain, but to turn him into a gang boss, to turn him into an informer,
Right,
to turn
right.
him,
To turn him then into a shady businessman,
which makes so much more sense for the
semi-legitimate ties to the business world. That's a whole lot better. But I think Penguin, now that you mentioned Penguin and Hush are competing for number 5.
There you go. All right, well, I'll give you a tie. Fair enough.
They're neck and neck, despite the fact that Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot is like
The worst
4'6", and Hush is like 6'1". They're still neck and neck.
So I would have to go. Obviously, Joker is number 1. It's the pinnacle of all. Joker and Lex Luthor are the pinnacle of villains.
Right.
But then the Ventriloquist, because it's a personal favorite.
Ventriloquist is so awesome.
Scarecrow is an amazing...
Get the Catman! Scarecrow, as much Batman as I've read, I haven't really read anything that's saying, God damn, they did Scarecrow well.
Well, here's my thing with the Scarecrow, is it's the anti-Batman in the sense that here's a guy who makes his living off of fear dealing with a guy who makes his living off of fear. So
that sounds confusing, but it does make an incredible amount of sense.
I look at these things differently. That's why I'm here. There's comics and there's slightly to the left of comics, and that's where I reside. But I like that concept. And you know who does do it well is Wade and Loeb with Scarecrow.
Oh, God, yeah.
But then again, Wade and Loeb have also written the only interesting Mad Hatter story since Arkham Asylum. And number 4 is a surprise, but it's
really
Shadow of the Bat, Zazaz, the serial
Really?
killer. It's just such a surreally horrifying concept for Batman. Here's a guy that every time he kills somebody, slices a little line in his body
Right.
to the point where he's covered in them.
Right.
It's a grotesque, and it doesn't fit. It's much more 90s serial killer Hannibal Lecter than
All
Batman usually goes.
I can see that.
But because Zazaz is somehow hit a level with people, he keeps coming back. Like he was even in Batman, the movie, the second one, Dark Knight.
Yes, that's right. That's
because
right.
there's
He
something
was in
about
the
that
trial,
character with the idea of the scarification.
Scarification. Now who's drunk?
But it's a real word. What do you want from me? I don't make words, I use them.
Scarification.
But there's
Remember,
something
kids,
about that character that really resides in people in a negative way. And I think that's particularly coming out of Shadow of the Bat's first series.
Yeah, that's a good point, because Shadow of the Bat had very rare flashes of, oh yeah. Most of it was, I'm going to eventually complete it one day, because I can say
I know, because you gave me living holy shit till I gave you Shadow of the Bat 3 to complete the first 4.
I so did not.
You freaking...
Get the fuck out of here with that, man.
And number 5 is Harvey Two-Face.
I can see that.
Pinnacle.
Big Bad Harv. You did see that 2-part episode of the animated series, right?
I really have seen maybe 3 of the animated series.
Oh, dude, I got the whole first season. It's fucking legit.
Yeah, that's not the phrase I would have gone with.
No, dude, it's fucking key, man. I'm telling you. That...
Dude, it's fucking key, man.
Look, if we wanted...
Call of Duty!
if we wanted cogent, well thought out comic book analysis. We
They'd
would be
come to me.
academics. We would be taking a master's level course in panelology.
Which they
And if you
teach.
think that doesn't exist, you are wrong.
Wow. I sadly know that it does.
But that's not what we're about.
Nope, we're the mean geeks, so fuck brilliance. Give us the vulgar. All right, it would be your top 5, sir.
To pull one out, I'm going to query you first. How about
Yeah, what do you
that?
got?
Whoa. I got a twacked out one. This is never going to work. Because there's only 5 to begin with that are worth talking about.
Well, you just had an entire conversation in your own brain.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, all right, what are you talking about?
Wow. Top 5 comic book marriages.
Top
Yeah, that stopped you for a minute, didn't it?
All right, no, okay. Let's see. Well, since we just read it, and I love Green Arrow, Black Canary.
Yep, I knew you were going to go there. It's valid.
Green Arrow is one of my all-time favorite characters. A cynical hippie superhero. It's some funny shit, and he married what's currently the hottest chick they're drawing in DC. So points to him. Number
Dinah
2
Lance, hottie of hotties.
would be. Who did the Absorbing Man marry?
Titania.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome because they're both big, dumb brutes. They go well together.
Oh, it was brilliant. And out of left field, you're like, oh, of course. Why wouldn't they be dating?
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Sir.
Number 3 would have to be the Fantastic Four.
Yep. Reed and Sue, despite even the horrifying events of Civil War, back together.
Are they?
Living. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 5. Number 4 would be. I suppose you have to go with Spider-Man and.
Which doesn't exist anymore.
True, but at the time it was epic. You know, no, that'll be 5.
Right.
I'm going to go Clark and Lois.
All right, very good.
I really don't want your response on that, though, because it's going to be pretty much the same, except I came up with the Titania Absorbing Man.
Well,
thing
I'm not
to throw you
coming
off.
up with anything, man. What are you talking about?
All right, what are your 5?
I came up with for you.
Oh, you motherfucker. By the way, kids, when I say motherfucker, I mean person who fucks your mother. Just to be clear.
Not you, in fact, and your mother with an Oedipal thing going on. Not that.
Oh, good Lord, no.
Because that's disgusting.
Hey, I would never call you a motherfucker if it meant you were banging your mom. I would call you a freak.
I've always been fascinated. I don't know a whole hell of a lot anymore because it's been forever since I read it, but Barry and Iris, they seem to have it they seem to have had it together.
Well, Barry was like the patron saint in several levels of DC.
Yeah, which is kind of weird, and when I give you Rebirth, you'll see how he doesn't really handle that very well when he comes back.
Is he coming back? Is that
He's
definitive?
back. He is back.
So is he Flash now?
He is, well, they had a parade for him, they had a reception for him in Flash
Did
Rebirth.
Wally have a sandwich?
Just this past week, Wally had a sandwich for him? No,
Well, no,
Wally
I'm
did not
saying,
have a sandwich for him.
if there's a buffet, did Wally eat or did Wally leave?
Well, we didn't see Wally much.
Well, he's very
in
fast.
Rebirth #1. Stop that. In Rebirth #1. But we saw Hal and Barry hanging out, and Barry's just like, I've been gone a whole lot of time. Why is everybody going nuts? I'm not sure I'm even supposed to be back. Am I supposed to be back? This is weird. Something's wrong.
Sweet.
But it's Jeff Johns, so it's going to be hard to go wrong.
Jeff Johns is a good writer, but I don't know. So now there are 3 Flashes to choose from.
Oh, yeah. Well, Flash, if you go strictly by people who have called themselves Flash.
There's like 47.
No. There's only Jay Garrick, Barry Allen, Wally West, and the abortive series with Bart Allen.
Don't forget there was the Future Age Flash from the Wade period.
Yeah, but that was a future thing. That's not really canon until they start writing stories specifically about that one.
I don't know. Wade, as far as Flash goes, if Wade did it, it's kind of canon in the recent past.
Yeah, but Wade hasn't written it for, almost 10 years. So...
Has it been that long?
Yeah. He gave up somewhere after Terminal Velocity.
He came back for a while, though. I thought in the
for
30s.
a teeny while. And then, like almost 3 years ago, Flash ended, and it was like 18 months where there wasn't a Flash book. And then they tried to make Bart the Flash, and that was a fucking abortion. That was bad.
It doesn't seem good.
It was pretty poor. But now Wally's got 2 kids, so he doesn't really want to be the Flash much
With
anymore.
Asian reporter Trisha...
Yeah, Trish, whatever the
No,
hell.
I was kidding. That's the line from Family Guy, dude.
What? I don't watch Family Guy. You know that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, man. So Flashes can become all complex. That's too bad.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? So, we got Barry and Iris. They fascinated me with what little I read from them. I like reading Sue, because like I said, they have, except for the events of Civil War, they have always been so tight. Namor couldn't get them to separate. Sue would be like, you know what? I think you're hot. Your trunks are nice. I like what you're packing in them. But Reed's my guy.
I think she banged him.
No, I really don't think she did.
I can't believe
I think she was thinking about it.
I think you actually have thought about this, whereas I was lying.
The potential... Wait. Let me back up here. Because, I'm missing like 6 years of comic history here. Yes, they did.
Who? What?
Bruce and Betty. They did get married. There was another one where Bruce Banner.
Yep.
They did get married, and that was a funny damn issue, man. When Cap hired an enthusiast.
You're thinking of Rick and Marlowe.
Oh, yes, I am. Which was not a very fascinating marriage at all, really. That was kind of I don't even know what happened to Marla. I don't know if she's alive or dead or what.
I don't know what happened to Rick, for that matter.
Rick is still floating around, kinda. If you remember, in World War Hulk, he tried to calm him down and it didn't really work. So he is still around, but it's been a while since anybody made real use of him.
Rick Jones is the greatest character in the Marvel Universe.
He was made as an answer to Snapper Carr.
The single worst character.
Yes, absolutely right.
A DC Universe.
But,
I got invited.
That was funny. Why'd you invite Snapper fucking Carr?
And I don't mean this as a judgment, but he's an idiot.
Alright, so, yeah, Peter and Mary Jane, because she was hardcore. She hit the jackpot, Tiger. There's,
Plus, I believe they hired the now dead Vera Wang to design the wedding dress. Like, that wedding was a big deal.
We're back. I was moving on eventually. We're closing in on an hour here, so we should get to the meat of what I really... The only thing I truly had planned out to talk to tonight. Alright, so Barry Iris, Reed and Sue. I would love to say Green Arrow, Black Canary, but I don't know how that marriage is going to go yet. Because if you remember in Longbow Hunters, she was adamant about not marrying him.
That's true.
Yeah, she was like, I love you, I want to make babies with you, but I'm not going to make orphans. And
times and writers have changed.
That little panel when she said that, that was such an amazingly beautiful panel. She had that hair dropping in front of her face. It looked like a picture that was just a filter was put in front of. It didn't look like a line drawing at all.
Hence why it's in my
awesome.
top favorites. And
yeah.
Now, thanks to you, signed by Mike Grell.
There you go. You know I take care of you. I should probably abandon the marriage ones because I'm probably going to end up with Crystal and the Accuser. So
I was waiting for the Phoenix and Cyclops.
No, I've never been impressed with their union.
I don't know. It created the Gene Ha drawn Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix.
Well, I like Gene Ha, but that was a crap series.
I didn't understand a word of that book.
Nope. Didn't know
great,
what the hell was going on in there.
Here's our honeymoon. We're going into the future to find our child. See that?
Yeah, the Ascani son. Who the hell was the Ascani? Oh, she took care of the orphan Nathan, who became a cable between the universes.
Is that where that name comes from?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so much
cable
worse than
between the. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Rob.
Makes even less sense than just not knowing that it meant anything.
Oh, Lord have mercy. All right, so you brought papers into my home.
Yes. Entertainment Weekly did an apparently 20 all-time coolest heroes in pop culture.
Oh, okay.
Now, Wired, on the other hand,
Right.
said, why don't we put a spin on that and turn it a little more geek?
Yeah.
So Ken Denmead decided he was going to take their list and replace far more geekier people with it. Although some of them I'm not real
Right,
certain
what do you
about.
got?
So we start off with number 20, and the Entertainment Weekly list had Sidney Bristow of Alias on it, who, spy, instant geek, hot, instant geek,
Right.
hot spy, geek overload almost.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
But Ken decided to replace her with Emma Peel.
From the Avengers.
Yes. So, do we debate that? Do we accept that?
Here's my thing. First, I've never seen the Alias,
Yeah.
but I've only seen a very few Avengers.
Right.
I would call that a wash.
Yeah, I would too.
It's geek. Emma Peel is more geek in the sense that she's more obscure and therefore
Yes.
theoretically
That
cooler.
obscurity appeals to geeks to a
But she
huge
wasn't
level.
obscure at that time.
No, she was very huge. Everybody was watching the Avengers.
So,
even though Patrick McNee was like 30 years too old for the fucking woman.
well, he also wore a bowler and carried an umbrella. I mean,
Which is,
there's a lot of flaws in that relationship.
Yes.
But 20 years from now, when Alias is the Avengers and whatever current hot spy.
Right.
So, yeah, I call that a wash. I don't think that's
Now-
just claiming geek cred by pulling up the obscure
Yes.
as opposed to the better.
Now-
And that is very geek in its own way.
Yes, it is. Now, this here is very curious.
What do you get?
Number 19, Entertainment Weekly says, top pop culture hero is Atticus Finch.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes.
Gregory Peck.
Pop culture hero, though? Really? Admired character? Certainly. Absolutely. Someone to model yourself after?
What
Quite
else
possibly.
is a hero, though?
But,
To Kill a Mockingbird is one of 3 books that I've researched that people actually read in high school. The others being Catcher in the Rye and The Great Gatsby.
I fucking hated Catcher in the Rye so much. Kill a Mockingbird I found acceptable. It was well constructed. I liked it. Didn't mind reading it. Never threw it across the room in frustration like anything by Robert Jordan. But, top 20? Really?
Atticus Finch is the pinnacle of a hero. It's a good man doing good in a bad society. That's what every hero should aspire to being. So I understand where they're coming from.
Having said that sentence,
but it's not really a fun entertainment weekly
really.
choice. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But in terms of real hero, that is the kind of character you should aspire to, as opposed to a guy getting bit by a radioactive spider. So.
Right. Now, I kind of have quite a problem with what they wanted to replace him with geekily.
All right, what do you got?
You wouldn't know about this because you haven't watched it, but there was a lawyer, again, on Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
wait, which version?
The new one.
Okay.
Named Romo Lampkin, which is one of the worst names I've ever heard in my fucking life, man. Hey, Romo! And despite the fact that he's in space and in a ship, constantly wore sunglasses because he's just that fucking cool.
Hey, when you're cool, the sun shines on you 24 hours a day.
Yeah, if you say so.
No, actually, a really bad movie from the 80s called My Science Project said so.
I remember that. Yeah, but I don't think he's anywhere near the scale or scope of Atticus Finch. I mean, because he was definitely very self-serving. He did the proper things at the proper times.
If they worked for him.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, not loving that. No,
he was about the law, but he was about the law being manipulated. You know,
I'm going to go with
he knew what was
Entertainment
right.
Weekly on this one.
Yeah, I think so. So, that being 20 and 19, 18, Batman is in the Entertainment Weekly list, and that sounds reasonably fine to me. But the Frank Miller version instead of the Christian Bale version?
Well, the
Which
Christian
one?
Bale version is based on the Frank Miller version.
It absolutely is. There's huge chunks of it in there.
And there's more than one Frank Miller version.
There's plenty of Frank Miller versions.
So, again, you know, Batman versus Batman, wash. Like, if you want to go Mike Barr Batman versus Frank Miller, and then I can debate something, but Bale Batman is Batman.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. So, number 17, and I don't like either of these being...
So it's a lot like 18.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't like either of these characters being in the top 20
All right, what do you got?
pop culture heroes. Entertainment Weekly said Nancy friggin' Drew.
You gotta have a girl in there. That's
Well, no, I'm not debating whether a female should be present, but Nancy Drew? Really?
well. Nancy Drew was a movie. What, 2 years ago?
Got me. I don't remember
I don't
that.
think it did very well though. So that's, all right. And what they replace that with?
They replaced her with Velma from Scooby-Doo. You know,
That's horrifying.
just because you got glasses and you ain't attractive, that don't make you a geek.
Actually, if memory serves,
Hey, I'm fuzzy and I'm chubby. I don't have glasses.
you will. No, let's be honest. Velma is a geek. But Velma is also the kind of character that you just don't want around, which is why when Scooby-Doo in the 80s moved to the faster-paced Scooby and Scrappy-Doo, they took the stoner and the hot chick and they left the metrosexual Fred and the horrifyingly unpleasant Velma by the wayside.
Keep it up, Beatnik. I'll feed you to the fucking dogs.
You know what I liked is, you ever watch one of the Scooby-Doo movies they did?
Which movie? Like the Sarah Michelle Gellar ones?
Yeah.
No. I saw parts of
They
it.
had Linda Cardinelli playing Velma,
Really?
which made my watching Velma a lot more uncomfortable for me. I'm watching it with my nephew, and she would come out. I'm like, really? I want to bang Velma more than Daphne. I need to go shoot myself. Thanks for that.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm
ready
not-
for number 16?
What do you got?
are not going to debate this one. You are
Okay.
going to go with Entertainment Weekly all the way.
All right, what do you got?
I absolutely guarantee it. Number 16 of the top 20 pop culture heroes ever, Jack fucking Bauer.
Oh, right, come on. Top 4. What is he doing at 16? 24 is one of the greatest things ever.
But they admitted how hardcore he was
Yep.
by saying that if they were going to replace him on this top 20, they had to replace him with the entire original Mission Impossible team.
Dun, dun,
The entire
dun.
team.
I still like Jack Bauer better. Have you ever watched an episode of early Mission Impossible?
It's pretty bad. I live with my pop. Come on.
Fair enough. No, I'll take Jack Bauer 7 Ways to Sunday, day in, day out.
I knew you would. Now, 15 is, I think you're going to go Entertainment Weekly again.
All right, what do you got?
And I do too, actually.
All right, fair enough.
Entertainment Weebly?
Weebly?
Yeah, that's what 9.5% alcohol will do to you. Entertainment Weekly seems to have a thing for a good cop breaking the rules for a greater justice, and in this slot,
I don't know. Spot. I see where you're going.
they picked Dirty Harry.
Nice.
The Geek Dad from Wired.com wants to replace him with Judge fucking Dredd.
Judge
Now,
Dredd
my
is-
personal opinion, can't friggin' happen.
Here's my thing. Judge Dredd is an awesome character in England.
Yes.
You take Judge out of England, you get Rob Schneider's best friend. That's horrifying.
the law. Rob Schneider. What a
I will beat up
I
Armand
hate-
Asante.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
Dirty Harry. But then again, Dirty Harry did have the Deadpool, the 5th and final.
Yeah.
If it were just Dirty
Guest
Harry,
starring
the first
Slash.
movie. Oh, not even that. You see. Don't come Clint Eastwood with me if you can't play, son. You know who died first in the Deadpool, don't you?
Slash. No, I know that's not right. I can't remember.
A little actor known as Jim Carrey.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
As a result, Jim Carrey would join Clint at the hand printing at the Hall of Fame, Walk of Fame in Hollywood, and then Clint would join Jim when he placed his palms down in the pavement.
Well,
Don't talk Clint with a master.
right.
I watched Hang 'em High yesterday, for fuck's sake.
I'm down with the Clint too, man. I got no time for Judge Dredd.
No,
So, this one's kind of hard. Number 14.
yep.
We go into westerns. Now, I know that's your forte. Unfortunately, they don't pick the man with no name.
What the fuck?
That's what I said. But Will Kane from High Noon is Entertainment Weekly's pick.
Great movie.
It's a wondrous movie. That big a hero but they replace him with Mal Reynolds in Wired.
No.
Nah, yeah, he's not.
No,
he doesn't quite match.
I love Firefly. As you know, I really do. I watched it all in 2 goddamn days because of you. Exhausted at work for 5, so I could watch TV for 2. That's the brilliance of being me.
The worst thing is it was less than 14 hours of show.
That's because I watched them all from getting out at 11 till 5 in the damn morning. No, it was an amazing show. I really enjoyed it. And Nathan Fillion is an appealing actor. And
Have you seen his new stuff, Castle?
I did watch that, and I won't again.
I haven't bothered catching it, but
I liked it better
I
when it
do
was
like that
Hardcastle
girl
and
he's with.
McCormick.
whoa.
It's that formulaic and pointless that I have no time for it.
Well, I mean,
No,
it is
fi-
basic broadcast TV. What are you going to do?
There was a lot to be said for Firefly. However, in High Noon, you have an epic tale and this is kind of my defense of To Kill a Mockingbird too. Here you have a guy slowly being abandoned by everything who stands up anyway. Mm-hmm. A better comparison would have been the 3:10 to Yuma.
Yeah.
Because people are going left and right, and he keeps going forward.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll take High Noon every day.
All right, I can see that.
Although Firefly is a fuck of a lot more fun.
Number 14, Entertainment Weekly, for some bizarre reason, gives a nod to Schulte's, our ambulatory real-life Wookiee buddy, gives a nod to his little proclivities in blaxploitation, and says that Foxy Brown is a top 13 pop culture hero.
Pam Grier is Foxy Brown.
But, being the geek system that Wired is, they replace her with Storm.
Here's where I have a problem. What they've done is, in order to be whatever, they've taken a African-American female and replaced her with another African-American female.
Yeah.
Whoopity crap. Is one geekier than the other? Well,
a lot. Yeah.
No, blaxploitation versus comic books is...
It's an iffy contrast at best.
I will prove this in one very simple sentence. If you like comics, how geeky are you?
Reasonably geeky.
If you prefer blaxploitation movies, how geeky are you?
Well, that's where that's where the horrible subdivisions of the geekness come in. You can be a film geek and not give a flying fuck about comics. And you can be a horrifying film geek, because most film geeks are horrifying because their intense proclivity to pretentiousness.
There's a lot of comics that...
Oh, no, I'm not saying there ain't, but the film geeks are far above and beyond that, because when you break it down and a comic geek really admits to you, I love comics, they're fun, I want to be a fucking comic hero. The film geek will never say, I want to be a director in charge of everything and I want my vision.
No, see, there's the difference. The film geek will totally say they want to, be a director. They won't say, I want to be a woman on heroin in a blaxploitation film. And therein lies the difference. The film geek wants to be a real person. The comic book geek wants to be a cartoon.
They're so snooty about it, is what I'm getting at.
Well, snooty sucks. But Storm, pretty much lame. Whereas Pam Grier would come at you with a straight razor. So I'm taking...
Rather good point.
I'm going to take Entertainment Weekly.
All right, I figured you would. Number 12, and they didn't even bother with a picture for this one. It's only here at Entertainment Weekly really starts hitting the true geeky heroes. At number 12 is the man who started it all, although I'm not real certain about that. As far as science fiction military heroes go, Captain James Tiberius Kirk.
Oh, son of a bitch.
And they don't debate that. They just agree. Number 12.
Well, I mean, people love Kirk.
People love Kirk, man. Kirk gets all the ass.
Yeah,
he saves the universe multiple times.
Look, you fucked one ass that was green, and you were not happy about it.
I did not either. It was yellow. Oh!
And you were not happy about it.
Yes, I understand that was a semi-racist comment, but, what are you going to do?
Nah. Kirk is heroic to people who find Kirk heroic. I find Star Trek on the bottom of my shoe, and I wipe it off whenever possible.
Right. So, on to number 11.
11.
They don't diverge here again, Wired and Entertainment Weekly. And I don't know if there's enough backstory to really put him quite this high.
What do you got?
Mad Max. Yeah, that pause is telling.
Well, no, because it's small, but it's important. I hate Mad Max.
What?
I love the Road Warrior.
Oh, okay.
You can take Mad Max
I can see where you're
Mad
coming
Max
now.
Beyond Thunderdome.
And fuck them.
Thank you, but no. But the Road Warrior is a little piece in the middle.
Yes. I just watched that last week.
No, I haven't
Yeah.
seen that in years.
Yeah.
You don't own it.
Really?
You'd think.
Yeah. I'll burn you off one this week.
Right?
Cool.
Yeah, the Road
So-
Warrior, all-time
yeah.
classic. I remember watching that with my uncle.
Jim?
Yep, had to be. And I remember when when he finds a little gas area,
Yeah.
and the woman shrugs him off, and then
Right.
it turns out that he's awesome, and she tries to get back with him, and he shrugs her off. My Uncle Jim looks at me, he's like, "Fuck that bitch." I was like 7. So of course I'm like, "Fuck that bitch."
See, I can't say shit like that around my nephews. They will take it and run.
No, the Road Warrior was a great film and a great character, but Mad
Really?
Max.
11? Really?
It was a pinnacle. I mean, but then again, any list like this is arbitrary, because you catch me on a different day, I'd put the Highlander there. Because at the same
Rather good
age, the
point.
Highlander was awesome.
All right, so we cracked the top 10. And
For the first and only time in our lives.
pretty much. Again, they don't bother diverging. EW and Wired. They say Spider-Man.
Spider-Man should be higher.
Higher? Really? Yeah.
Spider-Man is a pinnacle, dude. Spider-Man recreated comic books, recreated superhero. Before Spider-Man, heroes didn't have angst.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, the angst ball would get run with a lot. But
And
Spider-Man...
as a direct result, they tried to get into the relevance thing.
But Spider-Man was...
Which, oddly
Above
enough,
and
is a
beyond.
foreshadowing into our next character.
Since I haven't read this list, I'm on my own with that. But no, Spider-Man was a huge thing. And it changed a lot of things, and it still, to this day, appeals to, from you
Damn near everybody.
to 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you could make a considerable argument for Spider-Man being well into the top 5.
Okay. Very good. Now, this one is going to be rough for you. I think you're probably going to have to flip a fucking coin here.
Shite. I have no coin, but I must flip. That sounds like a Harlan Ellison
Yes,
novel.
it does. Number 9. Now, remember, EW is going through all fiction.
Right.
And the Geek Dad on Wired.com is going through specifically geeky fiction. EW says Robin Hood.
Huh.
If you think for half a minute, you can probably see where they're going.
Oh, if it changes it... Well, he's always changed it into something that is similar, but more geeky. Like, he's not picking
Right.
better, he's just picking geekier. So,
Right.
Hawkeye?
Close. Very close. One of your favorites.
Oh, Green Arrow.
Yep.
Dude, Robin Hood is much cooler than Green Arrow.
I was on the fence about what you would pick.
I read
But,
Howard Pyle a hell lot sooner than I read Mike Grill.
Well, what he says here is EW gets truly medieval on us by picking Robin Hood. But if we're going to be talking arrow-slinging do-gooders in green with liberal wealth-distributing agendas, let's make sure he's at least got cool facial hair.
Fair enough. No, Green Arrow is one of my favorite heroes, but let's be honest, the choice of him over Robin Hood is simply Robin Hood isn't geeky enough for me. I need the geeky version.
On to number 8. We're moving along, folks, really. You won't have to suffer much longer.
Moving right along.
Yeah, so he whips out a Muppets reference. Yeah, that's great.
Muffet?
Muppets. I know, I'm like 3/4 in the bag here.
A little terrifying.
Again, no divergence. Buffy.
Buffy has been a
I really
huge
don't know
impact.
if she's worth number 8, though.
These lists are not
Maybe
designed
12?
to be... It's
15?
They're not to be archived. You ever read a Rolling Stone top 50 albums of the year?
Oh, yeah.
and then you read the top 500 albums, and half of them are in that.
Right.
And then the next year, half of the new top 50s are in the top 500.
Right.
Yeah. There's slices in time. And Buffy was a huge slice in time and still has an impact to this day.
Yeah.
And Sarah Michelle Gellar still has a career.
Somehow.
If she chooses, thanks to Buffy.
Even if she went to, exclusively remaking Japanese horror flicks.
Well, who wouldn't?
Come on. The Grudge. Whatever. Now, again, they don't diverge. Number 7.
Yep.
I'm getting close on this. Getting real close. I'm trying hard not to put them higher because I know there's... Although I don't agree with number 6. I would definitely swap 6 with 7. Both of them say Han Solo.
Han Solo is... Here's my thing. And let's get used to that phrase, by the way. Here's my thing, because you're going to hear it a lot. Isn't Luke Skywalker more heroic than Han Solo?
Well, that's...
Based on the list they're giving us, where hero is the operative word.
All right, very good, yes. Because he specifically set out for adventure, and Han was reluctantly pushed into it because eventually he found in his heart that that was the right thing to do.
So now both these lists are flawed. But at the same time, Han Solo equals awesome.
Much cooler. Whiny farm boy versus rakish scoundrel.
Yeah, it's a given. Although based on that criteria,
yeah,
Lando Calrissian.
yeah, works every time. None of you know what I'm talking about. There was a commercial in the 80s for Colt 45 malt liquor. Lando Calrissian did it. The catchphrase was, works every time.
By the way, Lando Calrissian is AJ code for Billy D. Williams.
Well, who doesn't know that? Number 6, they're pushing it. They're really starting to push it. Entertainment Weekly says John McClane.
Excellent choice.
Probably top 6, yeah.
Think about it. Die Hard at the time redefined action movies.
Amazing. I
One of the few 80s action movies you'll watch. By the way,
that you will watch and not feel guilty about.
Yep, I watched Lethal Weapon the other day, and not the same experience.
No, it sure wasn't. 2 was better than 1, but
you were a madman. Anyway,
the Geek Dad wants to replace him with Aragorn. Yeah, I had that same scrunching of the face as well when I read that.
Well, I mean, there's a bigger hit. That's a really hard choice, ironically. Because with John McClane, you have the rebirth of action films into a classic. Because as you know, I like action films from the 70s. Things like The French Connection, where there's still a plot and a point.
Right.
And the 80s were a rough time for Little Billy.
Yes, they were.
Till Die Hard, and suddenly I could have a plot and a point again. But Aragorn has been around since the 60s. It was a classic hero
Early
character.
50s.
Good point. In print as well as on film.
Right.
Viggo Mortensen cashed the fucking bank cow on that one.
Yeah, he did.
As much as I like John McClane, might have to go Aragorn.
Really? Excellent. All right, cracking the top 5. Almost done. We're damn near close to our longest episode ever. We got 1 page left. We're an hour and 23
No one
minutes
cares. They've been listening, or they haven't. Based on
These are my timestamps, so I know where to edit.
Good point.
Number 5, Entertainment Weekly, and this.
You edit me?
What? Of course I edit you. What are you talking about?
Good God.
You wouldn't know. You don't listen. Who cares? No divergence again, actually.
Number 5 is even, huh?
Actually, the top 5, they only diverge once.
All right, what's number 5?
Number 5 is Ellen Ripley. She's hardcore, man.
All right.
She's hardcore. She finished it out. She got through the first Space Truckers movie.
Alien is better than Aliens. You know this to be true in your heart of hearts.
Well, it's very difficult to compare them because one is essentially a haunted house story, and one is straight up military action. So the only thing that truly ties them together is that one character.
Well,
they could have been totally separate flicks and been just fine each on their own.
That and the actors in Alien got other jobs.
Well, yeah. Eventually. Yaphet Kotto? Oh, come on.
Tom Skerritt? William... wait, did you say William Hurt?
Yeah. William Hurt. John Hurt. John Hurt.
There you go.
I said John Hurt. We'll go back and look if you want. It's recorded. See, I remember that always because it was in a coupling episode.
You are a freak.
What does John Hurt mean to you? Yeah! When they were talking about the pregnancy.
Oh, dear God. All right, so 4, moving on rapidly.
Harry Potter. I don't know. I think it's a little early to be throwing him in the top.
No, I think it's the right time. I think 5 years from now, he won't be on this list. And therein lies my problem with these kind of things. Right now, Harry Potter, because you think about the kids involved in the movies, and let's face it, the movies have been excellent. I went with you to the last one where you spent the entire time flirting with Indian women.
Wait, who was that? What are you talking about?
We sat through a Harry Potter movie and you spent the entire time flirting with some Indian woman in the seat behind you.
What the fuck are you talking about? I don't remember that.
It happened.
Whatever.
But Harry Potter right now is a pinnacle of heroism, but 4 years from now, much like some of the other things we discussed, will it still be there?
Yeah, it's going to be a rough one.
3.
Number 3. Soups. The Big Blue Boy Scout.
Oh, dead. Number 1, really?
I was thinking that with myself because I'm incredibly disappointed with their number 1. Each of them. Both of them.
We'll see.
Number 2, we portrayed them ourselves just tonight. Henry Jones Jr. Indy! Come on, don't silence me like that. It sounds weird when there's
Indiana Jones is a personal favorite. Wow, who's higher than Soups and Indiana Jones?
Yeah, that's a hard one. You will see. I don't know. It's tough how you're going to react to this one because you absolutely mind-blowingly love one and have almost no exposure directly to the other.
What is it, like a science project?
Maybe. Their number 1 pick, Entertainment Weekly, said 007 himself. Entertainment Weekly said 007.
James Bond is the pinnacle of everything.
All right, now this is I have a huge problem with this. I would take James Bond over the Geek Dad's number 1 any fucking day.
I have to rescind my earlier point, by the way.
Even when portrayed by Tom Baker.
Oh, what? No. What?
Yes.
No!
Yes. Absolutely. They say Dr. fucking Who is the number 1. Geek Dads likes Doctor Who better than James fucking Bond.
Well, it is in the sense that anyone who likes Doctor Who more than James Bond is a geek. And therein lies the whole point of the Geek Dads listing. It's not about better heroes or more interesting or more appealing, just geekier.
Right.
And that's not really who are the geekiest heroes. Like, why would you make that list?
Yeah,
but no, Doctor Who is horrifying.
Yeah, there's if we ever get hate mail, it'll be about this Doctor Who.
Yeah, dude.
But
for me, Doctor Who is like being trapped in an episode of Mr. Wizard's World that I can't get out of.
I saw Origin of the Daleks and I didn't mind it just a few months ago.
Really? Well, we differ.
I said I didn't mind it. I didn't say I was like fucking touching myself over it.
Well, thank fuck. But no,
so,
gentlemen with white afros and 7-foot scarves do nothing for me. I've been trapped in a telephone box. I did not enjoy it, and it was not wider once you got inside there.
So let's review what they actually said about it, because this will be the end of the night. In the top spot, Entertainment Weekly puts The Spy with suave dripping from his Sayville Rose suits, and if we were just talking about
really
cool
said
heroes... I'm reading it direct. And if we were just talking about cool heroes in plain old pop culture, then James Bond would have earned his throne. But we're not, so he doesn't. The quandary, then, is who is so super cool and also rocks the geek world like no other. We know who. Fucking pun. Yes, we know he's not really a spy per se, but he is an intergalactic, interdimensional, intertemporal troubleshooter, which is close enough. And he sounds British too. So, we say replace James Bond with Doctor Who. And I say eat a dick.
You do say that a lot.
No, that's your phrase. I co-opted it for that moment.
Doctor Who.
Sorry, Dad, but it's just this nuts.
I feel bad, but Doctor Who is science fiction for people that hate enjoyment.
People that hate enjoyment. That's terrifying, man.
What do you want from me? You watching one of those shows is like being trapped in a doctor's office with guys that think they're cool.
Oh, yes, that's rather good. Yeah, I can see that. Right. So that's the episode for tonight. We're an hour and a half in. This is this is neck and neck with the last one for length, so I think we're either getting worse or better at the same time. I'm not sure which. You're required to decide that because it's my podcast, so I can't say a fucking thing.
And yet you do.
Having said that, stay geeky, get crazy, have a great night.
Fuck off.
And fuck off as well. Good night, everybody.